This is Dr. Tom Roselle. After 35 years of practice and almost 750,000 patient visits, the Roselle Center for Healing knows what works and knows how you can take control of your health and wellness. My team of doctors practice 21st century integrative medicine. Whether you suffer from chronic pain and fatigue, allergies, or headaches, we can help. Take charge of your health before it's too late. Make an appointment today. Call 703-698-7117 or visit online at rosellecare.com.
Dr. Tom Roselle and the Roselle Center for Healing present Ageless Health 2014, Proven Tools to Maximize Your Health, Saturday, October 18th at the Fairview Park Marriott in Falls Church, Virginia. At this all-day seminar, learn how you can feel better or feel great when the doctors from the Roselle Center for Healing each discuss a topic that directly affects your health, like your food, physical fitness, preventing injury and disease, your healing process, and more. Learn more at agelesshealth2014.com. That's agelesshealth2014.com.
This is a recording of Dr. Tom Roselle for Sunday, June 29th, 2014. You can listen to this program live every Sunday afternoon from 12 noon to 1 p.m. right here on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
The following program is paid for by its sponsors, who are solely responsible for its content. Views expressed on this program are not the views of 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Dr. Tom Roselle live right now on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. This is Dr. Tom Roselle live in studio. It's a beautiful Washington day, but you know what? We're here for you as we are every Sunday at 12 noon. Got a special program for you today, one that I think that is going to get your attention, so to speak, one that will say, really? I didn't know that could happen, but we're going to take that up in the meantime, I want to remind you that coming up October the 18th, I think it's the 18th anyway. It's a Saturday, that weekend Saturday. Ageless Health 2014, our annual production, will be held at the Fairview, or the Falls Church Marriott Inn, Fairview Park Marriott Hotel. What's that all about? It's a whole day from morning to night that will knock your socks off. I mean, it is so overloaded with information. If you really want to take control of your life, if you want to put it together, if you want to know how you and your family can live well, and you be the captain of that ship without drugs, without surgery, this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of it. You have to register now within the next 10 days if you want to do something called saving money. Go to our website, rosellecare.com. That's ROSELLECARE.com. Register. Tickets normally $99. They're $59, which includes an organic lunch. This is a day that starts in the morning. We'll begin to show you core training exercise as you register. You can either participate or you can watch. It's like over the top. I start at 8 o'clock. We start putting the format together. We go through each one of our presenters, our experts in their area. Check it out. See what we're offering. And please be there with us. Don't miss this opportunity. Ageless Health 2014, a day that you will remember forever. We have a program today that is not only intriguing, but that will kind of, shed a light on something that all of us have a tremendous amount of concern for. And I have a doctor that is spearheading an effort to change the playing field, if you will, when it comes to our military. But he also published a book recently that has to do with everything that happens here in the Washington metropolitan area. It's called Misdiagnosed, the Adrenal Fatigue Link. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Dr. Stephen Zodkoy, chiropractor, nutritionist. This guy is across the board with more credentials than you could possibly spend a lifetime adding to your resume. But I can call him friend. I know Stephen very well. Dr. Stephen, you hanging in there with me?
I sure am. Glad to be here.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that you're coming. We had a tremendous week last week. We were at the International College of Applied Kinesiology 50th celebration of its inception by a great man in spirit, Dr. George Goodhart. And it's about what we do from a structural, chemical, emotional point of view. I want to get into a couple things, but first, I want to talk about your book and how that came about, and then that'll easily springboard into the thing that I want to let our listeners know about. Being in the Washington metropolitan area, and this is the go-to radio station for talk radio, so we have everybody and their brother listening. So let's start out by talking about Misdiagnosed, the Adrenal Fatigue. How did you come about? Why did you do the book? And take us through it a little bit.
Sure. I mean, when you and I both went through the original course of applied kinesiology, and I did mine 25 years ago, and we talked a little bit about adrenal fatigue, and basically it's for people who just have chronic illnesses, fatigue, joint pain, low energy, and then it spreads out to dizziness, lightheaded, and it was something that we would see in our practice, maybe, out of 100 patients, maybe once or twice. And then over time, I'm seeing it out of 100 patients, I'd see it 5 times, then 10 times. And now I've noticed it's actually like an epidemic where it's maybe 30 to 40% of the patients I see can no longer handle the stress of life, either physically, emotionally, or biochemically.
And they can't recover from little things, and that even makes it worse.
Right. And, our lifestyle today just adds to it. With the phones being on constantly, the computers being on constantly, we're a 24/7 world. I know that even myself, my practice, I work from 8:30 to 6:30 3 days a week, which sounds great. But when I get home, I'm still getting emails, I'm still getting texts. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm still talking to other doctors and educating them. We just keep going. And we have these little glands that are supposed to be producing adrenaline and energy, and they're just getting worn out. And I also think it's the situation we live in now is just, it's stressful 24/7. Especially since 9/11. Stress, anxiety, terror is constantly a threat, which has a low-grade stress. We're sicker than we've ever been before. We're living longer, but we tend to be sicker, and it's just wearing down.
I tell my patients that if, even though longevity is upon us, but if you really want to see the quality of life, take a walk through any of the nursing homes anywhere, any of the assisted care you see people that are sitting there, they're strapped to their chairs, they don't know who they are, they need assistance in everywhere, and these are people obviously that are much older, but some of them are much younger, but we are in fact, as you say, burning out at such a rapid pace, but we're linked, going back to 9/11, we're linked emotionally to that. So everything that we look at, everything that looks like, sounds like, all of the talking heads on television has that constant triggering mechanism and allows our system to burn out.
Yeah, I'm writing a op-ed piece for a newspaper, and I just looked up the World Health Organization's quality of life and longevity. And the United States has done very well with projecting our longevity. We're up to, the average age is, let's say, 82. But our quality of life actually stops at 70. So you're talking about you're spending, almost 15% of your life with no quality. And we really need to work on that aspect of our health. And what's happened is, if we've worn ourselves out to such a degree that at 70 we have nothing left to enjoy life or to function the way we're supposed to, so we just linger on for 12 more years. And I don't know if I really wanted to call that life, but
no, it's not. It's existing. And you talk about adrenal fatigue, and if you look it up, if any of our listeners went, and got on Google and they looked up adrenal fatigue in the normal medical text, you don't find that. You don't find hypoadrenia or weakened adrenal function, because obviously if the adrenal system failed completely, you're going to die. And, when we start out in life, if we did an autopsy of a child, the adrenal glands are about 1/3 the size of the kidneys. When we die and leave this planet, they're residual, they're rudimentary, they're just destroyed. So you've got this whole thing that, let's talk about what walks in. You talked a little bit about, people having unresolved issues, people not being able to come back the way they used to. They're always in that state of limbo.
Well, as a chiropractor, the first thing I started to notice is that my patients that would normally respond well to chiropractic adjustments weren't holding the adjustments the way they should. And some of them were even coming in, I got adjusted, and, the next day I felt much worse, or I was getting a headache. And that was the first clue that I started to realize that these people are just too stressed to hold the adjustments. But then I started to get a lot of patients with fibromyalgia. And as you know, fibromyalgia is one of these diseases that has a name, but nobody knows where it came from.
It's the disease.
Yes, and I realized that these patients had ligament laxity. They were orthostatic hypotension, where they were getting dizzy, lightheaded, and they were having mood issues. And I sat back and I'm like, work backwards. And I'm like, well, what could be causing all of this? We know it's not an infection because we looked around. We know it's not abnormal blood work. We looked at that. And I came up with possibility that, maybe this is an extended form of adrenal fatigue. And when we started to test for this, both physical tests and lab tests, we were able to actually pinpoint that fibromyalgia, a lot of the chronic fatigue patients, were all really just adrenal fatigue. The real popular name now is POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
Right.
I don't know if you're seeing this a lot, but
unfortunately, I'm seeing way too many of them.
Yeah, a lot of these girls, it's usually girls from 15 to 30, are just falling apart. And it's funny because the lab testing for that is very similar to the lab testing you would do for adrenal fatigue, but they refuse to use the name adrenal fatigue. Like you said, there is no hypoadrenia. I'm not particularly sure why.
Well, Steve, because they can't find a pathological piece, a blood shift change that says this is what it is. So if those things aren't there in the medical community, in the allopathic community, a system doesn't exist.
Right. I mean, I actually covered like almost a whole chapter in my book on why doctors don't recognize it. And the reason for it is that adrenal fatigue, the adrenal glands, the amount of cortisol level, which is just one of many. It's the one everyone knows, but it's just one of many hormones and neurotransmitters that the adrenals produce. It actually varies by tenfold from morning to night. And it has to match the amount of stress you're under. So you could have adrenal fatigue and you're overworking your adrenals, but the levels look good because you have so much stress. So it's very, very hard to pinpoint with just one simple test. You actually need to do a 4-point cortisol level with other hormones to see are the adrenals producing enough of all the hormones and not just sabotaging the body to produce enough adrenaline to keep the body going.
Well, the balancing act between cortisols with DHEA, they're both produced by the adrenal cortex. And as you said, you have to look at the rhythm of cortisol. You have to look at it what it's like in the morning, and you have to look at it what it's like at nighttime. If it's crashed in the morning, then you know somebody's not going into restorative sleep cycle at nighttime. So there's no way that they can actually fix anything. And then the cascade continues, dropping blood sugars, going into a resistance pattern, and then the body begins to suffer the consequences of all the symptoms that you've been bringing out.
One of the things that I think that is severely overlooked, which we know is a big problem in the United States, is DHEA is really the precursor to sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and the rest of them. And we have an epidemic of infertility in the United States. I mean, it's out of control. And one of the things I think the reason is that we're so stressed and overwhelmed that we can't switch from producing hormones and neurotransmitters from the adrenals to deal with the stress to switch over to have proper hormone balance for fertility, both male and female. I think that's a big issue that's really being overlooked in medicine.
Yeah, the conversion rate has to be done in a system that is well balanced, and when that system's off, and then you add that to the environmental xenoestrogens, and your body continues to break down at an exponential rate, and guys are going into very, very low testosterone levels, and subsequently, and because of the stress, they have an inflammatory barrier, and whatever they have can't be used anyhow.
Yeah, it hits so many different aspects. And, last week when we were going to the meeting in Washington, I put a quick post up on my Facebook page asking anyone who has, one of what I like to call today's chronic diseases, either fatigue, fibromyalgia, untreatable anxiety or depression, pain that just won't go away, and, people who've had everything tested. And just put it up there because I know we're going to be around some brilliant minds. And we had over 300 requests for doctors in like less than 12 hours.
That's wow, that's incredible. Steve, we're going to talk about this in depth, and I told you that we may be, we're going to put this aside at the bottom of the hour, but if you have the time, we're going to take it through the entire show today.
That would be great.
And we're going to talk about some other fascinating things. I don't want to reveal it, but the bottom line is that you have linked in with the United States military to handle PTSD problems, and your results are over the top. What you're getting and the turnaround that you're getting with these military, and we're going to talk about the Marine Corps straight up, is amazing. It's what you and I know can exist, but you're wrapping it together, and you have something that is going to resolve a tremendous amount of anxiety, restoration of the troops back to normalcy, which is totally unheard of. We're coming up to a break in a few seconds here, and when we come back, I want to begin to touch on that, kind of wrap up this adrenal fatigue pattern, but transition it and how it relates to all of this. And then in the second half of the show, we're going to really get into the intimacies of this. We're at 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. My guest today is Dr. Stephen Zodkoy, and an amazing practitioner. Don't go away. This is Dr. Tom Roselle.
Dr. Tom Roselle and the Roselle Center for Healing present Ageless Health 2014, Proven Tools to Maximize Your Health, Saturday, October 18th at the Fairview Park Marriott in Falls Church, Virginia. At this all-day seminar, learn how you can feel better or feel great when the doctors from the Roselle Center for Healing each discuss a topic that directly affects your health, like your food, physical fitness, preventing injury and disease, your healing process, and more. Learn more at agelesshealth2014.com. That's agelesshealth2014.com.
This is Dr. Tom Roselle, author of Ageless Health. Health is a do-it-yourself program. My book, now also available in audio version, is a step-by-step program of how to take control of your health and wellness without drugs or needless surgery. You have the capacity to change your health and level of well-being. Take control of your health today and order Health is a do-it-yourself program.
For more information and to order, please visit agelesshealthbook.com. That's agelesshealthbook.com.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live continues now on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle live in studio, 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. That's how you find me here. How you get a hold of us off the air, go to rosellecare.com. That's ROSELLECARE.com. Send me a note. We'll get back to you as fast as we possibly can. If you want to talk to one of my docs and you need to do that very quickly, all you need to call is our office at 703-698-7117, 703-698-7117. Very special program today and a very special guest, a good friend, guy that I admire tremendously, not only for who he is, but the work that he's doing and the contribution he's making to our society, Dr. Stephen Zodkoy. Dr. Steve, you still there?
Sure, here.
Thank you, my friend. You practice up in New Jersey, and one of the nicer parts of the state, and you've been very active in everything that I can think of, not only from a musculoskeletal practice from a straight chiropractic, but has evolved over years where you have many, many credentials as a clinical nutritionist. You're one of the first chiropractors, I think the first chiropractor that took the CNS exam and got the certification as certified nutritional specialist. Your recent book, Misdiagnosed, the Adrenal Link, and it was incredible. I read that thing and I said, Steve, you hit it out of the ballpark. You're right on the mark. And for any of you that would like to pick up Dr. Zodkoy's book, all you have to do is go to Amazon. It's a bestseller. I mean, you'll find it, get it, and read this thing through. It will give you everything that you need to begin to turn the process around. Let's talk a little bit about the transition. In the second half of the program, we're going to talk about PTSD and how this applies, and the program that you have going on with the U.S. military, but particularly the United States Marine Corps, which I have a special affinity for, having gone through that process myself. Let's talk about that transition. How did you go from the work that we all do in adrenal fatigue and the unrecognized syndrome into this processing into the application of military PTSD?
Well, I actually have a patient of mine who was a colonel, a reserve colonel, and one of her daughters got ill. And when she came in and I was working on her, she had some leg problems. I told the mother, I go, your daughter has anxiety and stress issues, and it's causing a weakness in her leg muscles, and if we address the emotional issue, the leg pain will disappear and her gait will be back to normal. And so we did a technique called neural-emotional technique, where you have somebody visualize their stress and anxiety and then desensitize them using acupressure points. And we gave her some nutritional supplements, and lo and behold, in about 2 weeks, her gait was normal. And the mother was thrilled because they really thought, several doctors had said she was going to need surgery. And on a side note, she just asked, well, if this anxiety technique works for regular patients, what would it do for, my Marines with anxiety and PTSD from battle? And I said it should work fine. We treat people with trauma all the time. A lot of people don't understand that PTSD, there are more PTSD cases from sexual abuse and emotional abuse in the United States than from actually traumatic events of battle. So I've been treating PTSD with adrenal fatigue techniques and NET for 20 years. It's just in the last 5 years that I've really had the opportunity to work with Marines. I do need to say, my program is not through the Marine Corps. It's adjacent to the Marine Corps. The Navy medicine is in charge of Marine Corps medicine. And Navy medicine will not accept my approach no matter how many times we show them that it's working. They have yet to accept it. So we're having Marines come on their own to the office and through private donations to get treated. All the testing we're doing, all the treatments we're doing, all the research we're doing is a joint cooperation between me and a company called Neuroscience, which supplies me with testing and nutritional supplements. I've had several meetings at the Pentagon actually on a regular basis, and military command, the guys who are in charge, who are responsible for the men, they love the idea. They know it's working. They're getting comments from Marines who have gone through this program around the world, but we haven't been able to break through Navy medicine. The top of Navy medicine is very resistant to new ideas.
That's traditional medical, and you and I know what the problem is with the allopathic approach to any of this stuff. I was very impressed, and it was obvious what you were saying last week when I met with you, our friend Dr. Howie Cohen, and the Marine General that was at that table with you, and I mean, they are excited. They are on board with what you're doing, because you're saving their troops. You're turning them around. Not only are you making life better for them, but you're allowing them to go back into what they do best, being Marines.
Yeah, let me tell a story about what happened. We had a request for a Marine to be sent up from Florida because he had horrific PTSD. He had a year and a half of therapy, medications, cognitive behavioral therapy, and finally they were just going to give him his discharge with disability because he was unable to function. And instead he got a hold of me, and we put him on a nutritional protocol. And our nutritional protocol is based on testing neurotransmitters in the brain so that we could pick up anxiety, depression, nutritional deficiencies that we can correct. And then after they're on this therapy for about a month, they come visit us. He actually stayed for 2 weeks near my office, and he got treated in the morning and the afternoon. And their only goal for getting him treated was to release him back into society with less PTSD so that he could be somewhat functioning. Upon completing 2 weeks of therapy, he actually went back to the Marine Corps and requested to stay on. They gave him a psych exam, they gave him a physical exam, and he was reinstated with a new MOS, and he's going to complete his tour.
Steve, that's incredible.
A huge savings.
Hold that thought, because we're coming up to the break. We have to stop for our advertisers and a couple information. Don't go away. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live.
Dr. Tom Roselle and the Roselle Center for Healing present Ageless Health 2014, Proven Tools to Maximize Your Health, Saturday, October 18th at the Fairview Park Marriott in Falls Church, Virginia. At this all-day seminar, learn how you can feel better or feel great when the doctors from the Roselle Center for Healing each discuss a topic that directly affects your health, like your food, physical fitness, preventing injury and disease, your healing process, and more. Learn more at agelesshealth2014.com. That's agelesshealth2014.com.
Did you know that routine mammograms can increase radiation exposure to breast tissue 1,000 times over a chest X-ray? Now consider a simple, non-invasive, and totally safe medical procedure approved by the FDA since 1982 that can detect breast cancer 5 to 8 years before it can be visualized on a mammogram. Infrared thermographic imaging can accurately detect the initial signs of breast cancer as increased blood supply and metabolic rate, which is recorded as heat. Why expose yourself to radiation when accurate and safe medical detection is available? Call the Thermography Center of Fairfax to schedule a breast exam today at 703-948-7248. That's 703-943-7248. For more information, visit www.thermographyscan.net. That's thermographyscan.net for the Thermography Center of Fairfax.
The Roselle Center for Healing is a proud supporter of breast cancer awareness and reminds you to conduct a monthly breast self-examination and a thermographic breast scan as part of your annual wellness checkup.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live continues now on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome back. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. This is Dr. Tom Roselle in studio with a very special guest today, one who is setting the world on fire in the area of resolving PTSD, something that is plaguing our military, is plaguing many of us, and with unresolved up until now resolution of the symptom complex. Dr. Stephen Zodkoy. Dr. Stephen, let's take this a little bit further. Let's talk about this. I'm sorry I interrupted you before. You were in the process of telling the story. And, I mean, that's phenomenal. The guy, a Marine, ready to be discharged. They wanted to get him back into to life just so he could manage his life. But you were able to totally turn him around. He was reassigned. He got back in. He's going to finish his tour. That's amazing.
What's amazing about it is it's not the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the 10th, the 20th. We've done this over and over and over again. In July, there will be a nutritional perspective. Is an article being published on a study I did last year where we took about 20 Marines. I did a lecture at a call, and we asked for volunteers, and 20 Marines came in and said they were burnt out. Marines won't say they have PTSD if they're active duty because they don't want the stigma, so we use the term burnout a lot.
Of course not, the Marines.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are go, go, go. But we took 20 Marines, and some of them are extremely high ranking. I don't want to give it away. But these were the top of the best of the best. And we took 20 of these guys. We did a test to rank how burnt out they were. There's a test called the Maslach Burnout Index. It's a questionnaire for physical and emotional complaints. And then we did our program, which is we measure their brain chemistry, measure their hormones, and from that we give them nutritional supplementations. And what we found in 90 days on these nutritional supplements, that the average Marine improved 42% in his physical and emotional complaints.
That's outrageous.
You know what? That's not even the best. That's the article being published next month in July.
Wow.
In December, there's another article which is what happened to these guys when they completed the full 180%. I'm amazed to say we had 20 guys start, 19 finished, 1 dropped out. That alone is great, no side effects. The average Marine improved his physical and emotional complaints by 82%. Can you imagine that?
That's unheard of.
Imagine yourself dropping your complaints by 82%.
That's totally unheard of. And I mean, we're sitting there, most of us who treat military, and we obviously in the Washington metropolitan area, we have a lot of guys walking into our office. And when you're looking at those statistics, knowing that we can fully resolve these things and getting these guys back into life, and on average 83%, that's incredible. That's over the top.
Right, and there's a couple of other things that were interesting. While some Marines actually improved, 100%, everybody who was in the program, everybody who stuck with it for the 180 days, at least moved up. There's 5 levels of burnout from, extreme to none. Everybody moved up at least 2 levels. So this is definitely an answer for not just Marines, because we're all feeling burnout. You can call it burnout, you can call it adrenal fatigue, you can call it PTSD, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. People know there's something wrong with them, and they're not getting the answers. And that's one of the biggest reasons I wrote the book, is this gives people the answers. It tells them how to recognize the problem, how to start changing their life. And it could be simple things like dietary changes and exercise and nutritional supplementations are a great way to start. But people need to know is that they need to, just like your own book, they need to start taking control of their own health.
Yeah, Health is a do-it-yourself program. Dr. Stephen Zodkoy, my guest today, we're talking about adrenal fatigue, but more importantly, we're talking about the application to PTSD and the unbelievable results that Dr. Zodkoy is getting with turning these people around. His book, Misdiagnosed, the Adrenal Fatigue Link, you can find it on Amazon. Dr. Zodkoy is located in, I think it's Monmouth,
New Jersey.
Monmouth, New Jersey. You want me to give you a phone number? Or?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, great. So you can find him at 732 732-0099. 732-308-0099. You know you're going to get an avalanche of calls, right?
You know, it's funny. We got a new person that's just starting tomorrow. We'll put her on the phones.
You better get her up to speed because she's going to go crazy.
One day of intense training. I'd like to talk about what we're doing for veterans if we have time.
Indeed, we got plenty of time.
All right, great. So while military medicine is a little slow to be picking up on treating their servicemen, we've made an excellent breakthrough with private veterans organizations. A lot of people don't realize that the Veterans Administration, or maybe it's coming out right now, is totally overwhelmed by veterans coming back with PTSD, anxiety, burnout. And in order to meet the needs, they're actually turning to private organizations and just handing over whole cases, whole counties, to these private organizations and allowing them to go out and use more advanced and innovative ideas to deal with it. Because the situation that the military uses and the VA uses, which doesn't work, is drugs. Tons and tons of drugs. Everybody is on not one drug, two drugs, but some of these guys, the average I've seen is 6 to 8 different medications.
Yeah, it's crazy. We see them walk in our office like that, and the drug has a side effect, and that drug has a side effect, and pretty soon you don't know what you're looking at, whether it's the problem or the side effect.
So I was asked a couple of years ago to go by the Secretary of Defense on this Joint Civilian Orientation Committee, where they pick a handful of leading Americans, whether they be head of universities, head of police departments, just people who have some sort of involvement in the community, to travel around and get a better feel for what the military does. And one of the guys next to me was this old cantankerous guy named Jack Downing, who runs Soldier On. They're based out of Massachusetts. And he was hearing me talk, and this guy's like an old Spitfire, and he's like, And, I went and explained to him, and you have 7 days you're traveling, you're in this big C-130 Trent plane flying all over the place, and there's only 20 of you. So Jack and I would sit down and talk for a while, and I was explaining my program to him and what I do, and people were really fascinated by this type of work. And when I came back to New Jersey, I get a call from Jack, who's running this big organization. He's like, all right, you know what, we're going to do it. And Jack actually, in the last 2 years, put together private donations so that we can actually open up 5 clinics, 5 clinics in 7 states, 7 clinics in 5 states to treat veterans with the program I have for adrenal fatigue, PTSD, and burnout.
Dr. Stephen, I have to inject this. We talked about the fact that traditional Navy medicine is trying to squash this. Your results with the Marine Corps is over the top. Your results with patients is incredible. The things that we normally do in our day-to-day practice by managing the burnout pattern, the adrenal linkage, and so forth, I have to put this in place. Dr. Stephen Zodkoy is a chiropractor, a nutritionist. He's in research mode. This guy has put everything that we do together in a usable format that is saving lives. Lives to meaning that these guys, these Marines, these people who have served us so well have been able to not only go back and kind of blend into society, but are able to stay doing what they do best, being Marines.
Yeah, so, it's amazing what could be done. So that what's happening is as a chiropractor, we've been fighting the battle for good health, for 100 years. And there's a lot of opposition to, giving people control over their own health because you're taking away from the drug companies, you're taking away from the medical society. And the only way we've survived as alternative physicians is to be better than the best. And to be innovative and to bring our message to the people. So one of the things that I've been able to make a lot of success was when I realized that military medicine was not going to listen to me. No matter how much I spoke on their terms, no matter how much I used their own research, no matter how much I talked in their own terminology, they were not interested. They have their own agenda, and it was not anywhere near what my agenda was.
Well, it's drug company driven.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the amount of medication that some of these people are on.
Exactly. And you know what? My agenda is to restore health. Their agenda is to treat symptoms. It's always been that way. But again, as a chiropractor, you need to be innovative. And my innovative way was to bring it right to the Marines, right to the soldiers, and to get private people, private foundations to give me the money to treat these people. And luckily, it's worked out extremely well, and I do have a lot of backing from military command, which should not be confused with military medicine. Two different, one's a bureaucracy and one's cares for the people that they have in their command.
Well, military command is all about taking care of the troops.
It is.
It's when you're in the Marine Corps and you really probably hear beyond any place else, except for maybe in special operations and special forces groups. You take care of the people that are in front of you, that serve you. You don't care how you get there. You put all the crap aside, all the bureaucracy aside, and you look at the effectiveness, the efficiency of that troop, that soldier.
It's amazing. I mean, what is it? Adapt and overcome is their terms they use.
That's right.
And you know what? I spent so much time with them. That's what we did, and we were able to really make some big progress. And there are a lot of people out there who have seen the results, and so we're getting a lot more traction. And while we're talking a lot about the military and the veterans, but we see it in the average people also. And they're the ones who are really getting a grassroots. I mean, you treat enough people, you're starting to hit politicians, and they love nothing more than to get in there and try and help the troops and get a little publicity for themselves. But these same ideas of treating the adrenal glands and balancing out hormones and neurotransmitters are great for our own population. I mean, we got maybe 20-30% of our population right now is on some sort of antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication.
That's awful.
Why do we have to, we should be doing this for everybody as a first-line treatment and saving the drugs for those that it doesn't work instead of trying to do it the other way around.
Well, the
success rate is so high.
Sure. As you know, when a patient walks into your office and you said that in the earlier part of the program, that treating somebody and expecting a result is not as easy and simple as it was and straightforward as it was years ago. People are over the top. Diets are different. We're exposed to environmental xenoestrogens and all kinds of other pollutions. We're constantly being bombarded with all kinds of stress patterns simply because of the devices that we're on. It's 24/7. We don't get away from it. Our foods are adulterated. They're GMO modified. They're polluted in so many different ways. So you don't have a body in front of you that can respond as resilient as it used to be.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, one of the biggest chapters in the book was luckily written by a good friend of mine, Dr. Howard Cohen, who you know extremely well.
Good friend.
And he's taken another approach. He's started this company called 7.2, which is they produce organic shakes and greens. And that's a big part of what we tell people is, the first step is get your health back the natural ways. Start eating more fruits, start eating more vegetables, raise your alkalinity so that the vitamins and minerals we give you will work properly. There's so much that could be done just on the basic level.
Basics, just basics. I mean, people don't get it. They don't understand that they really have control by changing little things and then cascading it inch by inch by inch over a period of time, and their health would turn around. But, we're such a fast food expedient society today. We want things yesterday. We don't want to prepare anything. We don't want to plan anything. We just want it to be put in front of us, grab it. We'll worry about it later on, and subsequently our health, not only of our health, but our family's health, is going down the tubes very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we really need to start paying much more attention to what we're doing. And that kind of brings me to, if you don't mind, if I want to talk a little bit about where healthcare is going.
No, please do.
I did a quick speech at the ICAK, the International College of Applied Kinesiology, and one of the things that I think got the biggest response, people were thrilled to hear about the work we're doing for the military, the veterans. They're glad to hear about the program we're doing for the general public using these neurotransmitters and adrenal fatigue to fix today's health issues. But one of the things that people never realized is where Obamacare is going to bring us. And I know that's a big hot button for everybody. But
we could talk about that for 2 programs.
I know, but I want to bring a different approach to it. And I've got to say, I think, and I got to let me finish the whole thing, I think it's the greatest thing in the world, and I'm going to tell you why. It is going to be a dramatic failure.
We're on board together. Go ahead.
But it's different. It's going to be one of those failures that it's going to blossom and cause a huge amount of success in the health field. Because the average person now who has a silver plan from Obama has a $2,000 per person deductible and a $45 copay.
Correct.
And if you go to in the past, if you wanted to go to a doctor and you wanted to go to your chiropractor, it was $40 to see the chiropractor and a $5 copay to see the internist. And then the internist wanted you to go get an upper GI surgery, so it cost you another $10. And so it was very cheap to just go along with the program. Go get your, go see your doctor for $5. Go get your test for $15. Go get your drugs for $15. That's gone. Now you're going to have to make a real choice. It's your $2,000 that you're spending because that's your deductible, whether you go to your family physician, your gastroenterologist, your orthopedist, or your chiropractor. So what's going to get you the most bang for your dollar? Study after study after study has always shown alternative medicine, whether it be a nutritionist or a chiropractor, an applied kinesiologist, is the cheapest and most effective way to get treated. So now that you're paying for it out of your own pocket, are you going to go to the right and go see your doctor and get your drug and pay $50 for an office visit? And now that colonoscopy is $2,000 out of your pocket, or that MRI is $1,200 out of your pocket? Or are you going to go to the left, where somebody's going to sit down, spend 10, 15 minutes with you, evaluate you, teach you how to eat properly, teach you how to exercise, treat you as a human being one-on-one.
And take control of your life.
And give you back control of your life for a tenth of what's going to cost. So Obamacare in itself is going to be a huge failure. But out of that failure, we're going to get people to realize they can no longer afford to be sick. They can no longer afford to rely on medicine and surgery because they can't pay for it.
And they're not going to be able to. And there's going to be a grassroots uprising, so to speak, and getting rid of Monsanto and their application to the junk that they're doing to our food. I mean, in Europe, they've gotten smart. In Canada, they've gotten smart. They don't allow American foods that have been GMO modified or added to with antibiotics and steroids and all the garbage that they inject into these animals to be exported to their countries. We're finally at a place right now we can begin to do something about that. Stephen, we're coming up, to a place where I'm going to have to say thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Dr. Stephen Zodkoy is an amazing practitioner. He is setting the world on fire when it comes to dealing with adrenal fatigue and returning our troops and military back to normalcy, suffering from PTSD, anxiety, burnout. His book, Misdiagnosed, The Adrenal Link, can be found on Amazon. Do it today. Go online and find it. You can get a hold of Dr. Zodkoy at 732-308-0099. Dr. Stephen, I will talk to you soon. Thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate it, Tom. Anytime. Thank you.
Dr. Tom Roselle and the Roselle Center for Healing present Ageless Health 2014, Proven Tools to Maximize Your Health, Saturday, October 18th at the Fairview Park Marriott in Falls Church, Virginia. At this all-day seminar, learn how you can feel better or feel great when the doctors from the Roselle Center for Healing each discuss a topic that directly affects your health, like your food, physical fitness, preventing injury and disease, your healing process, and more. Learn more at agelesshealth2014.com. That's agelesshealth2014.com.
Are you dental phobic? Do you neglect your dental health because of fear and anxiety? A beautiful smile begins with exceptional dental care, and you can trust in the expertise of Soft Touch Dental Care and Dr. Michael Chung. Soft Touch Dental Care is unlike any dentist office you'll ever experience. Their warm and welcoming environment is designed to soothe fears and anxiety the moment you arrive, and they're especially pleased to pamper their honored guest patients. Dr. Michael Chung is a professional and leading expert in all areas of comprehensive dentistry, including cosmetic, sedation, neuromuscular, TMJ, and implant dentistry. Offering state-of-the-art technology, Dr. Chung can give you the smile of your dreams. Arrange for a complimentary consultation today with Dr. Michael Chung and experience the expertise that makes Dr. Michael Chung so unique. Call 703-319-6990. That's 703-319-6990. Or visit bestinsmile.com. That's bestinsmile.com.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You've been listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. I had a very special guest on with me today, Dr. Stephen Zodkoy from Monmouth, New Jersey. Stephen is an amazing practitioner working very diligently right now with the United States Marine Corps Command, not the Medical Corps, and helping restore our troops back to normalcy, suffering, many of them very severely with PTSD symptoms. And his results are 83% of these people he's able to turn around, get back into their units, and complete and finish their tours. It is unbelievable. He's been given a huge grant. He's a researcher. He's publishing. You're going to hear this name. You're going to hear the work that he's doing on many different levels. Articles are coming out. Research pieces are coming out. If you would like more information, you can get a hold of Dr. Zodkoy directly. I think we had given you his information. I'll give it to you again in a second. Dr. Stephen is one of these guys that when he sees something that needs to be done, he gets it done. He goes to the source. And in this situation, he went directly to the guys who are suffering with the problem. Dr. Stephen Zodkoy, Monmouth, New Jersey. His phone number there is 732-308-0099. Stephen has set up a lot of different clinics and practitioners that are working with him that do this work. It stems from the work that we all do in applied kinesiology, where we look at structural, chemical, emotional stresses to the body. And he is showing how this work, how we turn things around 100%. That's his area of specialization. He is turning heads and changing lives. Dr. Stephen is also responsible for developing the Nutritional Education Council, and he has single-handedly, by setting this up, educated thousands of physicians on an ongoing basis. And it's now one of the largest organizations of its kind in this country, Dr. Stephen Zodkoy. We have somebody who's been waiting very patiently, actually several. Some have dropped off. You'll forgive me today for not taking your phone calls, but Bernice, you've been sitting there the entire program. I need to say hi.
Hi, good morning. I have a question about adrenal fatigue. What are the symptoms, and can one of them mimic Alzheimer's? And what vitamins do you take to treat it?
Well, I mean, that's a broad-based question, but the short answer is yes. One of the symptoms of adrenal fatigue is memory lapse. It's confusion. It's not being able to go from point A to point B, point C without going from point A to point E first and then back around. There's a confusion state. You don't sleep well. You're waking up in the middle of the night. You get a lot of dizziness and postural changes. If you stand up too quickly, you're going to get dizzy. Sometimes if you just turn your head, you're going to get dizzy. Hormones go crazy. As a woman, or any woman could go into early perimenopause or directly into menopause for it. Women who are trying to get pregnant can't get pregnant. They won't ovulate. Depression ensues. You get into a problem with blood sugar handling where you go into pre-diabetic states, and the reason for that is that the adrenal glands are responsible for stimulating the pancreas to release insulin, and pretty soon, it continues to trigger the pancreas, and more and more insulin is being produced, so you go from a place of extreme hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, to a place of hyperglycemia or high blood sugar because the pancreas gets tired, and then this inflammatory wall because of the stress pattern forms and you can't transport. The symptoms go on. You get hurt easily. You do something that you think you should be able to do, and your body turns it around. Bernice, I'm sorry. I've got to quit. We're coming up to the break. We're there now. We'll be here same time, same place next week, 12 noon. See you then. Bye.